My role with the Watershed program is to oversee our biological and chemical monitoring, specifically in abandoned mineland areas, and also looking for other projects to improve water quality at. So hellbenders are a state endangered amphibian. They're huge salamanders and they need to live in the water. They're pretty sensitive when it comes to habitat and they like clean water. The biggest predictor of hellbender presence are forested areas like this one. So what we're doing is we're grabbing chemical samples up in some areas where there used to be hellbenders and where there currently are hellbenders. Try to learn a little bit more about the water quality they need. We partnered with Ohio University and they created these cement nest boxes that we actually put into the streams to augment the habitat. Hellbenders need forest cover is the biggest predictor of hellbenders. So if we're putting in riparian forest buffers, we're not only benefiting the hellbenders, we're benefiting all the aquatic life and terrestrial life in the area, and also reducing flooding, erosion, pollution, and reducing the temperature of the water. You can see where banks are just falling into creeks from where people have planted up to the stream. But yeah, just being able to sacrifice just a little bit of land to reforest would be helpful. People should care about hellbenders not because they are the largest and probably the cutest amphibian out there, and they have really cool nicknames like snot otter and old lasagna sides. But if you are working to care about the hellbender, you're also working to improve the habitat for all creatures in the water and the people who live in those communities.
Well, I'm subscribed to like every newsletter you can get from Rural Action, and I read them all. And I saw this place where you could sign up for a help planting a riparian buffer if you have a stream on your property. I've never in my life planted 500 trees at once, so I was pretty happy for the help. They came out and they helped evaluate my site. They helped me design and select a list of trees to plant, and they did some willow staking along the bank. I've started calling it the Riparian Orchard because when I first started working with this plan, it wasn't on my radar that I could have food and, stream quality improvement. By helping me design basically a riparian food forest, I want to start a forest farming nursery. So we've got 100 elderberries, 100 hazelnuts, 100 American plums, and a variety of other stuff that I won't manage for food production. But it wasn't until starting to work on the design with them that it really clicked for me that every planting I can be doing can be for wildlife food, for people food, and the original environmental practice. My experience working with their team was excellent. So they rounded up like 12 or 13 volunteers. I had all the trees ready. All of this happened in one day, which I never could have done on my own. If what I'm doing here can show that there is economic value in not cutting all the way up to the stream, that alone is super meaningful. So, if the income sales from either the elderberries or the starts that I'd cut, the hazelnuts, everything else that I listed, if that can compare to what someone can make in corn, that's a big deal.
The Conservation Cohort is a new program that we're experimenting with for the first time this year, where landowners, local nonprofits, and partners involved in conservation and sustainability can actually get help in terms of manual labor enacting some of the projects that we've helped formulate in the region, whether that's agroforestry or trail work or alley cropping or anything else that we promote. Today we are removing trees that are growing in acid mine drainage area. The ground that we're standing on is actually intentionally placed limestone that's slowly changing the pH of the water coming out of the mines so that over time the water actually goes back to a more balanced, less acidic state. On Monday we visited a site where the local landowner who lives by one of these acid mines was just absolutely thrilled to have us there, because we're doing work on land that a lot of people have ignored or a lot of people have deprioritized in terms of economic development. It's just a matter of clearing a trail, taking back some space from the autumn olive and other invasive non-native plants, and at the same time improving access to this acid mine drainage repair sites. So the conservation cohort is three prongs. One, doing important ecological work that there aren't always teams ready to do. The second prong is supporting our partners, the nonprofit organizations like Buckeye Trail and the Athens Conservancy, and also local farm owners and small-scale agroforestry producers. The third prong, and kind of the most important one for this program, is providing job training and real-life work experience for the people in the cohort.
We engaged in a process called ripple effect mapping, which we gathered people together who had been connected to rural action over the years and had some conversations about the impact of the work. And it got mapped in categories of the different capitals, where you look at things not only in terms of financial capital and that impact, but natural capital, individual capital, social capital. And what we found in that process is so many of the impacts were for the individual people. For a lot of people, their experience either as an AmeriCorps Vista or a staff member with Rural Action was a formative part of their lives. It helped them begin their professional network, start their career, find their life partner. Like, all of these impacts for individual people were the things that really resonated as the long-term effect of Rural Action's work. So yes, we have restored 74 stream miles that were previously dead to being able to support aquatic life. And we have launched and supported a number of different enterprises. We have helped people really develop and grow and find their path and stay here in the region.
So when I served as an AmeriCorps member at Rural Action, I served in the Entrepreneurial Communities program, which became the Resilient Communities program. And really what I was tasked with doing was creating networks of support systems for small businesses in 5 Appalachian counties. I wanted to serve the communities that I grew up in. I'm originally from Perry County, and I knew that this part of the state had a lot of needs, and there were also really wonderful groups that were addressing those needs already. I got to make really wonderful connections, and my love of place and sense of place just really grew exponentially during that year of service, and helped me find that this was where I wanted to live and grow my life. So after my term of service, I worked with Senator Sherrod Brown as the Appalachian Regional Representative, and my work at Rural Action was a direct reason that they hired me. Now I'm the Development Director of Buckeye Hills Regional Councils, and I really get to hold communities' hands of every step of the process, from creating the project, writing the grant, and then even all the way to administering the program funds once they get them. And all of that really started with Rural Action and understanding that every community has needs and that you have special skills that you can help address those needs for communities. So that is kind of how I got to where I am now.
Been involved in Rural Action my whole life. I mean, my grandma was one of the founders of it. She started it, so I've kind of grown up in this atmosphere, and part of my general upbringing was through the Sunday Creek Watershed camp. I started attending when I was about 6 or 7 years old. I attended for about 7 years before I started getting a little bit too old for the programming. But my friend Maddie Hall and I, who was the daughter of Michelle Decker, we were like, we don't want this to end. We don't want to leave. We want to stay involved in this. So we spoke to Joe Brem about if there was a way that we could stay on, if we could form like a junior counselor position, because we felt that we had more left to do. And so he was able to make that happen for us. I continued on for about 4 more years in that position, getting to mentor the kids. That reminded me a lot of myself. That experience has meant pretty much everything to me. Joe helped me get into college. He wrote me recommendation letters because of what I'd done. Because of that junior counselor position, it's helped me with everything. And especially in my past job that I finished up a fellowship at Reef Environmental Education Foundation. He helped this little shy, anxious girl who had severe social anxiety, and helped me blossom into someone who can outwardly express themselves and stand in front of people and talk and really work with the kids, who reminded me a lot of myself.